I want to talk about values. I often want to talk about values, but specifically, I want to talk about values as they relate to my sense of being within leather culture and the ways in which I strive to embody certain values within my DS relationships. So I did a search for what are some typical values within leather culture because cultures shift and change over time. So I was looking for some commonalities, some threads over the last many decades that I could try and locate between books I had and articles I could find online. And I came up with a list: community, service, respect, honor, loyalty, and honesty. The only one of those that calls to me is service. So I was thinking, well, that seems odd. It seems odd that there's this list of common leather culture values that I've put together, and I'm not relating to most of them. But then when I think about my history within the Baptist Church and the US military and so many other institutions, I'm reminded why a lot of these words I don't relate to. So I started thinking about the ways that I have restoried and renavigated my leather path through values that similarly map on to these values. So I'm going to give you the value that I found that is typically named as prominent within leather culture, and then I'm going to give you the form that I have found within it. So an example to start, well, just to start, community. Um, so when I think of community, I think of weaving. To me, that is a primary value for me, showing up in leather culture, is to weave and connect, to be engrossed in the interlockings of understandings and ways of being within and of this world, along with others. Um, for me, that tends to manifest as pulling people together, whether it's one-on-one, like, oh, this person's this and that, like y'all are interested in similar stuff, y'all should maybe meet. But also building community. Right now I'm training several baby bootblacks, and I just got a bootblack stand because the city seems to not have one, which is tragic. So I'm determined to bring more bootblacking to this city. So because I want it, because I want to do bootblacking, because I want bootblacks at my feet for all the reasons. So to me, that is an example of how I'm showing up within community and weaving. I see the value of community, and I just see an ideal, and I want to see an actionable value. And to me, that means weaving. So another value was service, and service was the one commonality of the leather values I found that it really calls to me in that form. I embrace that my medicine, my authentic beings, my offerings in the world as simply being myself, that feeds into my self-worth, my sense of self-worth. It is a thread within that. And I love to bring my service into my leather culture, and I love to be serviced within my leather culture. Um, so to me, service is very much an action because it's the offerings of. So um, another value was respect. So I kept seeing that one pop up, and I was just like, I got baggage. And I was thinking, like, okay, but I know that specific word aside and all the things I have associated with it from my experiences in the world, like I do relate to the ideals of respect within leather culture. And I think as an actionable value, I see that as mutual nurturance and gratitude. So showing appreciation for others and striving to not increase suffering, um, supporting, and this feeds back into service and weaving. And I feel like these just kind of meld into this beautiful swirl. So another common value that I kept coming across was honor. And that one also gave me like, oh, careful with that word. I've just had it and seen it weaponized too much. So I was thinking, as an actionable value, I believe that I know that I strive to show up with acknowledgement of power and privilege. And that's how I relate differently to the term honor, is showing up in a way that acknowledges power and privilege. I hold power dynamics within this context of DS in great esteem, especially given that this world really glorifies power over, and I endeavor to show up in ways that model a different world that I want to see, that restructures that breaks it apart, rips it to pieces, and does something else. So, yeah. So, from honor to acknowledging power and privilege in the ways that we can fuck that up for the better, for everybody, for everyone's increased sovereignty and care. So, and we're back to weaving. So, another value within leather culture that I see a lot is loyalty. And that term always gives me pause. So, the ways that I show up within leather culture and within my DS dynamics that I think align with this ethos of loyalty is a commitment to sovereign choice. And I think that this really loops back to power and privilege. So, a commitment to seeing that people have opportunity to choose what it is they want, what it is they wish to commit to. I want to show up in these spaces and with these people with a full fuck yes. That's my endeavor, and sometimes my fuck yes isn't about what I want. Sometimes my fuck yes is about what I've committed to, and those two can align, and sometimes they don't. So, but regardless, standing in my ethics of commitment to choice. So, and getting to re-choose, getting to change our mind is part of a commitment to choice. So, and then the last value that I kept coming across was honesty, and that one felt minimalist. It felt minimalist to me. So I was thinking more deeply, like, okay, I value honesty, but I wouldn't say that I show up with a value of honesty that's front and center. But what I do show up with is a value of curiosity and authenticity, which I think lends itself to an outcome of honesty. I take actions to send her both wonder and wonder, and to offer grace to myself and others. So I think that in doing so, that kind of loops in honesty in an actionable way that is maybe, I like to think of curiosity as directing the intentionality of my honesty, because we all have reactions, and I am not going to shame myself. Ideally, I don't shame others for our reactions. We all have our moments. I know. So, but wanting to see those reactions as a birthing of the experiences that we've had in the world, the ways that our nervous systems have stored the experiences we've had, and we've stored that, and that generates reactions. And striving to offer myself curiosity along with the reactions, which I find usually alchemizes that into responses. So, in a way that I think supports honesty and also is purposeful with intent. So, yeah. So I'm curious, what are the values that you strive to do, want to show up with in leather, kink, BDSM, fetish community, and for yourself in relation to other people within dynamics, most especially power dynamics. Maybe call that DS, maybe call it something else. We have power dynamics with everyone around us. So, but I am speaking within a BDSM leather context here. Although you're welcome to go off script. I'm here for that too. So, yeah. I wonder, like, do these call to you some of the traditional values of leather culture? Do some of the ones that, the actionable values that I have call to you? Is there something else? There are values that I have in my ways of being generally that I didn't name here. Queerness, fluidity, but I think these are kind of the core for me around leather culture. So I would love to hear what you got if you want to share. And I have a free workbook I'll put up if you want to kind of play with some contemplative or writing prompts around finding what you want your values to be, deciding what you want your values to be, so that you have a sense of how to align yourself. So that when you're doing something, you can check in, like, is this aligned with my values and or my commitments? Because also sometimes commitments don't align with our values, and that can be purposeful. And sometimes they do. So, yeah, that's what I've got. All right.